Once you have data entered into a worksheet, it's time to think about making calculations on that data. For example, here we have the sales figures for 4 products for 4 seasons of the year. We're interested in the sales of product A for these 4 seasons. I'll click in this cell where I want to put the total, and from the Home tab of the ribbon, I'm going to click this AutoSum tool. When I do and press Enter, Excel creates a formula that totals the sales of product A for these 4 seasons. Let's go ahead and do this in the next column, but let's do it a little more slowly. I'll click in the cell where I want the answer to go and click the AutoSum function here. Excel is going to add this formula to the cell. The equal symbol tells Excel that what follows is a formula or a cell reference and not a word. Sum is the function, and in the brackets is the range of cells that is to be totaled, everything from C3 through to C6. I'll press Enter and Excel will go ahead and calculate the total. We could type these formulas by hand. To do so, I'll press the equal symbol because that tells Excel that what follows is a formula or a function and not a word. I'll type the word sum and then the opening rounded bracket. And then I can either type D3 colon D6 or I find it easier to just drag over the range. And Excel automatically adds the range to my formula. I'll type the closing rounded bracket and press Enter. The formula that I've typed is exactly the same as the one that Excel types if you press the AutoSum feature. It's just that I've typed it by hand. Now we can do something similar for rows. If I want to total the spring sales, I can do so. I'll click the cell where the answer is to go and then click the AutoSum function here. Excel highlights and shows me the values that it's going to sum, and I'll check them visually to make sure that's correct and then just press Enter. Again, I could type this just as easily myself. Equal sum, rounded bracket. Select over the cells I want to add, close the rounded bracket and press Enter. Let's move to a duplicate of this sheet and let's see a trick that we can do using the AutoSum function. Here I want to add totals to each of the columns and each of the rows. To do this, I'm going to select over all the data that I want to add and then select also over one additional row and one additional column. So my selection has the data plus an empty set of cells around the worksheet where the totals will be placed. With this selection made, all I need to do is to click the AutoSum button here, and Excel automatically anticipates that what I want to do is to add totals all around my worksheet. When I click in the cell here, we can see that the total formula, the sum formula, has been written for us automatically. This is an important concept in Excel. While this particular cell shows 6,450, its real content is this function here. So if I were to change this cell here to 2100, look and see the effect it has on these 3 cells here when I press Enter. Every one of them changes because underlying this is not a physical number but rather a formula, and the formula has been recalculated because one of the values that it relies on has changed. If you click on any cell containing a formula, you can read the formula in the formula bar here, and if you double click it, you can see highlighted the cells that are used in that formula. Just press Enter to move to another cell. The sum function is probably the most commonly used function in Excel, and you'll be using that frequently as you work.